Hi there everyone and welcome back to NTE. This video is going to serve as our first video in our introduction to financial maths, right? And we're basically just looking at the basics of the theories that we deal with in financial maths, right? And we're going to use this first example, okay, to just dive into all the things that we're going to be looking at in financial maths, right? So this first example is just a compound interest example, right? Some of you will be bored with this example because it is quite easy and a lot of you are able to just jump straight into the formulas and get the answer, right? But I want to use this example to just talk through all the basic things that you need to be thinking about so that you are able to tackle much more complicated financial maths questions, right? So in this example, we're saying that, sorry about that, right? So we are saying that suppose, right, that someone, okay, has 17,812 rand and 43 cents, right? So oddly specific number, but we'll go with it, right? And they take this amount of money and they deposit it into a savings account that earns an interest at 4.8% compounded annually, right? So which means that they earn their interest every single year, right? Once every year, okay? Now we want to know how much is going to be in the account, right, at the end of 4 years, right? So the key things in this question is the amount that we're starting with, right, the interest rate, and our period, right? So for how long is the money going to be in the bank, right? And also the compounding period of the interest, right? We see over here that the compounding period is quite simple, right? We're dealing with an annual compounding period, right? But of course, we know that there are more compounding periods, right? There's semi-annually, there's monthly, there's quarterly, right? And all those little things, right, change your calculations, right? We'll keep it simple now and just talk about annual compounding period, right? Okay, so let's draw a number line in order to solve this problem, right? Of course, a number line is not required for such a simple problem, but just bear with me, okay? So on our number line, what we would usually do, right, is put down these little things that we call T0, right, T1, and so on, T2, up until, for this case, we would end at T4, right? But I just want you to have a little bit more of an understanding of what we are doing when we draw a number line, okay? Each interval, right, so this interval between T0 and T1, right, that indicates your first compounding period, right? Now, you need to know that this interval is going to change based on what your compounding period is, right? So we are dealing with an annual compounding period here in this problem, right? Which means that this interval between T0 and T1, right, is a span of 1 year, okay? It actually represents 1 year that has passed by, okay? So now think about how this would change, okay, if this was monthly, right? If this was monthly, then between T0 and T1 is only 1 month, okay? What about if it was, what do they call it? Semi-annually, right? If it was semi-annually, then the compounding period between T0 and T1, that would be a total of 6 months, okay? So you need to understand what you're doing when you're drawing your number line, right? And it's very important to be cautious, right, about this interval over here, okay? Because when you look at the problems, it all looks like we're doing the same thing, right? We're all just writing T0, T1, T2, whatever, right? But you need to understand what is the period, right? The interval period, right? That T0 and T1 is representing, okay? So in our case, that's representing a total, right, of 1 year, okay? Okay, so now we have to create our number line until we get to the end of the fourth year, right? So now another thing that you need to understand about the number lines, right, is that here at T0, okay, this represents the start of the first year, right? Then the first year continues and continues. When you get to T1, right? This actually represents the end, okay, of your first year. It might seem a little bit confusing because you would actually expect T1 to indicate the start of the first year, but it's not. It's the end of the first year. What T1 also indicates is the start of your second year, okay? And these type of things they become very important to know, right, when you get into our annuities and people miss payments and things like that, right? It helps you just to track what the person is doing along their timeline, okay? So if we carry on with this analogy, right, if we get to T2, right, T2 is going to be the end, right, of the second year, right, but it's going to be the start of your third year. Then if we move this on to T3, right, T3 is now going to represent the end of your third year, right? And also the start of your fourth year. Right. Then lastly, when we write down T4, okay, this represents the end of the fourth year and the start of the fifth year. Okay. Now remember that the question asked us to calculate how much money will be in the account at the end of 4 years, basically, right? So this is where we stop, right? This is why our number line ends, right, at T4. Okay, now if you look at this number line, right, you should realize that wherever we wrote start, okay, that's where the person gains interest, right? And this is just a savings account, so there's just a lump sum of money in the account, right? And every time where we wrote start, the bank gives the person interest, right? Because that's the start of the second year. And then at the start of the third year, they get interest again, right? At the start of the fourth year, they get interest again, right? So that's where they get interest, right? So at the end of the fourth year, right, we will have a certain amount of money, right, based on all the interest that the person has already earned. Okay, so if you look at this, right, you can see that you have a total of 4, right, annual compounding periods, right? And this is obviously going to change, right, when we started looking at things like monthly compounding periods, right? Because then the interval between T0 and T1 is only 1 month, right? So if we had to look at this specific example, right, from T0 to T4, if this was in months, right, that would only be 4 months and not 4 years, okay? So we're now going to come back to this problem, right, and we're just going to say that N, for our case, right, is just 4 annual compounding periods. Right, so we know that at T0, that's when the person put in, right, their lump sum of money, which is the 17,812 Rand and 43 cents. Okay, from here, we all know what to do with this, right? We just plug it into the compound interest formula. A is equals to P into 1 plus I to the exponent of N. Okay, where N is this 4 annual compounding periods, right? Or whatever it's going to be based on your compounding period. And it's usually easy to evaluate because we just multiply by the compounding period. Okay, so when we substitute into this, right, another thing we need to be careful about, is how we substitute in this value of the interest. Okay, the first thing you need to know is that that value has to be a decimal. Okay, so it's always the interest, right, divided by your compounding period, right? The number of compounding periods that you have, right? In this case, that's N, but I'll just use a different variable here, just not to confuse us, right? I'll just use the variable N, okay? And when we want to write our interest rate as a decimal, right, that's going to be 0.048, right? If this was compounded monthly, we know that then we divide this by 12, right? If it was compounded semi-annually, it will be divided by 6, right? But now it's compounded annually, so we divide it by 1, which means that it's just this interest rate in decimal form. Okay, nothing changes, right? Now our exponent, right, of N is just going to be that 4 times 1, which remains 4. Okay. then you can simply just plug all of this into your calculator. After this, all the brain work is finished, right? Now it's just a matter of being accurate, like plugging all of these values into your calculator, right? Make sure to use your brackets quite accurately, and make sure to also check, right, how you are plugging in all the values, right? So when we do this, we get that the amount that will be in the account, right, or the value of the savings account at the end of 4 years, right, it's going to be a total of 21,486 and 63 cents, right? Remember that we always round up to 2 decimal places in financial maths because we're talking about cents.